Basically, we are objecting to the fact that Mr. Christopher Clark filed as a slate and did not file the full slate that is required according to state statute. He was missing a clerk, highway commissioner, and assessor.
Okay, thank you for that summary. And Mr. Stirk, do you intend to file any sort of motions on this matter?
Yes, we intend on filing dispositive motions. We also will have a motion to consolidate with the objectors. They've objected to everybody that's pretty much on Mayor Clark's slate. So we're going to file a motion to consolidate. But I understand that the board is comprised, or it's going to be comprised of 2 different members. So maybe we'll just consolidate the trustees' cases and leave Mayor Clark's case separated.
Okay, when we get to that point, we can discuss that. But if the parties have no objection, if we do have all members of both electoral boards here at the same time at the next hearing, we could potentially consolidate it for the purposes of oral argument so that the parties don't have to state their oral argument this, again, twice. Objectors, you have something that you want to say?
Yes, as to consolidating all the cases, I do not believe that he has one trustee that has a different allegation against her, Corinne Davis. I don't think that should be consolidated because it's a whole separate issue involved with that particular challenge.
If I can make a recommendation, we could consolidate them all for the purposes of the argument of the full slate item, and then as it relates to the additional objection on Ms. Corinne Davis, which I believe is related to incompatible offices, we can have you guys argue that one separate. And this would just be for the case of judicial economy to keep these hearings moving and not have you guys have to do duplicative arguments.
That's fine, I just wanted that on the record.
Sure, understood, completely understood. So we will make note of that, and if we're able to get both sets of boards here at the same time for the next meeting, then we will go ahead and have all 4 board members sitting up here hearing the oral argument as it relates to the full slate requirement, unless there's an objection from the parties. Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay, thank you. How much time do you need, Mr. Stirk, to file your motion?
If we could have till, could we have till Monday?
Yes, and just so the board knows, we will probably not be able to come back until the 7th, or sorry, just so the objector and, or objectors and the candidates council know, we will not be coming back probably until the 17th. So if that, you know, you can take that into consideration in your briefing schedule. So if the parties need a little bit more time, we will be back here until the 17th.
Sure, and Monday will be fine for us.
Okay, so your brief will be due Monday, Monday, December 9th. And Mr. Price and Mr. Smith, how much time would you like for a response?
48 hours should be sufficient.
Okay, so you'd like your response, just for clarification, let's have Monday, December 9th at, is 5 p.m. good for the motion?
Yes.
Okay. And then the response would be due on 12/11, Wednesday, 12/11, also at 5 p.m. And Mr. Stirk, how much time would you like leave for a reply? Is 24 hours okay for a reply?
24 hours is great.
Okay, great. Okay, so the reply will be due 12/12. And then we will come back here on the 17th. Let's do 10:30 if that is okay with the board. Or actually, let's do 10 a.m. It's going to be a long day. We're going to have a lot of argument. So the briefing schedule is going to be the motion to strike and dismiss is due on 12/9. The response is due on 12/11. The reply is due on 12/12, and I was suggesting that we come back for a hearing on the motion to strike and dismiss on 12/17 at 10 a.m. If that works for the board.
Is there any way we could do it on 12/18?
My concern is that we're pushing, you know, we're already kind of far out.
Sure. We'll make 12/17 work.
Okay. Does 12/17 work for the board? Member Gonzalez, does 12/17 work for you?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we will continue this matter to 12/17 at 10 a.m. And that works for the parties, right? I know, Mr. Stark, you said you'll figure it out. You guys will get somebody from the firm to come?
Yes.
And Mr. Price and Mr. Smith, that works for you as well, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Okay, so this matter is continued until 12/17 a.m. I'm sorry, 12/17 at 10 a.m. Okay, there's nothing further to occur on this case, so we're now going to call the next case. So the next case is Nathaniel Fields of Keith Price and Michael Smith versus Nathaniel Fields. Mr. Oliver.
Good morning.
Good morning, thank you. Okay, so we will now have to go through the exhibits once again and just enter the exhibits into the record. Actually, I'm sorry, can we move back really quick and just do a quick motion to approve the exhibits for the 25 TOEB Sup 01?
I make a motion to approve the exhibits.
Can I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, now we're going to move on to case number 25 TOEB Sup 02, and again, this is Keith Price and Michael Smith versus Nathaniel Fields. Are the objectors present?
Present.
Okay, and is the candidate present?
Present.
Thank you all. And have the parties completed appearances? Okay. Mr. Fields, have you completed an appearance yet?
No, you guys have a form?
We do have some extras, if you want to step up and grab one. These were all included also in the objection packet that I believe was sent out. But we have extras, so if you can't find it, that's fine. Mr. Fields, you want to just come grab one from over here?
No, I have a copy.
Oh, you do?
You
Okay.
got a copy, but
Okay, actually, so you're gonna need two, because you guys got exchange appearances.
right.
So if you want to grab another one, so that you can complete it, so you can give it to the other side, and then we'll need one for our records.
Okay.
Thank you. And for anybody else that's sitting in the crowd, just so you know that you do have to file an appearance for every case. Your appearance has to have your email address, because we serve everybody via email, because these are highly expedited proceedings. We can't wait for mail to actually get there. Okay. All right, so objectors, if you could give us the nature of the objection.
The objection in relation to Mr. Fields deals with the failure to identify office sought on a statement of interest. Furthermore, Mr. Fields ran turned in petitions as a Democrat for primary, then filed as an independent, and I have some issues with petitions not being bound properly, and also statement of candidacy, statement of political party affiliation being absent. So that's basically a breakdown of the objections.
Okay, my notes actually reflect that there, and maybe my notes are incorrect, but was there also an objection that the statement of economic interest receipt was not filed?
Correctly, yes.
That it wasn't filed correctly, or that it wasn't filed at
It
all?
wasn't filed
Okay. All right, let me just grab the petitions.
with the proper authorities.
Got it. Okay, so I understand the nature of the objections. Mr. Fields, Will you be filing any sort of dispositive motions? Any more motion to strike and dismiss or anything?
At the moment, no, I'd like to respond, that you guys make a determination.
So today is gonna be very preliminary. The board's not gonna be making any decisions today.
Okay,
So that's why, so if you want time to file a motion to strike and dismiss, for instance, if you dispute what they're saying,
I do.
then you can do it in writing, and you would still have the opportunity to argue it orally on the 17th.
Okay, on the 17th. Okay, then I do dispute what they're saying, and I would like to argue my case on the 17th.
Okay, would you like to also file a motion to strike and dismiss, or would you like leave to file it, and if you choose not to file it, then that's fine, you don't have to file it, but if you want to file a motion to strike and dismiss, I can give you the same briefing schedule that we just entered in the.
Now, you just said leave, and repeat that the second one?
So basically, what I'm saying is that you're allowed to file a motion to strike and dismiss if you want.
Right, now
So-
strike and dismiss means dismiss their objection.
Correct.
Right.
Right, so
Okay.
the way that this generally works is the case gets called, and if a party disputes what is being said in the objector's petition, then the party has the opportunity to file some sort of motion to say the objector's wrong. And so that would be your opportunity to file a motion, and it's typically called a motion to strike, or a motion to dismiss, or sometimes a motion to strike and dismiss.
Okay, well, I like to file a motion to strike and dismiss, and I appreciate the explanation.
You're welcome. So the motion to strike and dismiss would then be due on December 9th at 5 p.m. A response would be due on December 11th at 5 p.m. And just, since everyone's pro se, Mr. Fields, you would be filing the motion to strike and dismiss. Your pleading would be due on December 9th at 5 p.m. The other side's response would be due on December 11th at 5 p.m.
Okay.
And then if you choose to file a reply, which that's typically how it works, the movement gets the last word. The person that's making the motion generally gets the last word. So if you want to have your last word in the form of a reply, you can file that on 12/12 by 5 p.m. And then we'll come back here on 12/17 for a hearing. I'm just gonna set them all at 10 a.m. because I don't know how long the hearings are all gonna take, so I just encourage all the parties to be here at 10 a.m. Yes. Okay.
Did we do the exhibit check?
Okay, we need to mark the exhibits really quick before we move this case along. The exhibits for this case, just like the other case, will be Exhibit A, the nomination papers, Exhibit B, the objector's petitions, Exhibit C, the call, Exhibit D, the rules, Exhibit E, the agenda, and Exhibit F, the waivers of service. And I believe, Mr. Fields, you sent in a waiver of service to the clerk?
Yes.
Oh, and Mr. Price and Smith, you guys both sent in waivers of service, correct? Thank you. Okay, there being nothing further with this case, we can move on to the next case. Oh, I'm sorry, yes, I apologize. A motion to approve the exhibits?
I make a motion to approve the exhibits.
Okay, so we have a motion by member Loretta Wells and a second by member Darlene Gray Everett to approve the exhibits as stated. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. All right, calling the next case, which is Keith Price and Michael Smith versus Sydney Moore.
Good morning, Honorable Electoral Board, Honorable Board members, and attorneys. My name is Jacob Avila-Kowalkowski, appearing on behalf of Attorney Frank Avila for candidate Sydney Moore.
And just for the record, real quick, actually, objectors, can you say your name real quick?
Michael Smith. Keith Price.
Thank you. And just for the record, Mr. Avila is not an attorney. He is appearing on behalf of his father, who is in the hospital at the time. So he just asked if I could, Mr. Avila contacted me last night via email and asked for time to file a brief. So his his son is here just to, I guess, make sure that that happens. He's not here in a per se representative capacity. He's just here on behalf of his dad to make sure that the process goes through. So do the parties have any objection to the briefing schedule that was set in the other cases?
I do
being
not
set?
have a objection to the briefing schedule, although I do have an objection if Mr. Avila is not an attorney, he should not be allowed to sit, regardless of the circumstances. Under normal situations, that's not acceptable.
That's fair. We do have the candidate here. Could the candidate come sit at the table,
Thank
please?
you.
Okay, Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So at this time, Mr. Moore, I understand that your attorney is in the hospital, and he has requested a briefing schedule. So do the parties agree that, to the briefing schedule that we set in the other cases, where the briefs would be due on December 9th for a motion to strike and dismiss, response due on December 11th, and reply on December 12th, all at 5 p.m.?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so we go ahead and set that briefing schedule. We will be back here again on December 17th at 10 a.m. And we will now go ahead and enter the exhibits into the record. Exhibit A, nomination papers. Exhibit B, objector's petition. Exhibit C, the call. Exhibit D, the rules. Exhibit E, agenda. And Exhibit F, the waivers of service. Mr. Moore, do you know if your attorney, Mr. Avila, do you know whether he sent in a waiver of service? Okay, if you could speak to him, or his son, if you could tell him to please send me a waiver of service when he has a moment, we can add that to the file. But you in fact were served, Mr.
Yes, I
Moore,
was.
correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So we do have service and the party is present. That's the purpose, is just to make sure that everyone's here. All right, so we need a motion to approve the exhibits.
I make a motion to approve the exhibits.
Second.
We have a motion by member Loretta Wells and a second by member and chair Chris Gonzalez. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. So this matter will be continued until December 17th at 10 a.m.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Excuse me, I just noticed one thing that we did for the other one that we didn't do for this one.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're correct. Oh, yes, we have not having the attorney here, just kind of throwing, but Mr. Price, could you please very quickly state the nature of your objection?
Thank you, Attorney. In the case with Mr. Moore, we have multiple filings of nomination papers, which is prohibited. We have circulation restrictions that were violated, dealing with a circulator may not circulate petitions for an established party and an independent or new party candidate. That can be found in 10 ILCS 5/10-4. We also have attachments, I believe in Mr. Moore's case, of 160 pages where he was the circulator. And that's basically a breakdown of everything that the objections cover.
Thank you for that summary. Okay, there being nothing further as it relates to this objection, we will continue this, or I'm sorry, Mr.
Yeah,
Moore,
excuse
do you
me.
want to make a statement?
Yeah, I just want to say that the attorney is asking, can he change the time of the appearance on the 17th, a little later that afternoon? Instead of 10 o'clock, a little later than that?
Like what time are you, we can push it towards the end of the supervisor call. But we gotta keep these cases moving, so what we could do is, the first case is gonna be called at 10 a.m. There's gonna be argument on that first case, so you've got 3 cases already before this case, or 2 cases already before this case. So what we could do is we could push this to the end of the supervisor call, so it'll come after But I can't give an exact time. I would say probably maybe 11:30. But we're gonna set it for 10 a.m., but just have Mr. Avila communicate with me what time he's gonna be here, and we'll make it work. But I do want to keep the supervisor cases grouped together, and then the town trustee cases grouped together, with the caveat, of course, that we do have a motion to consolidate on some other cases that are gonna have, causes of cases to all be argued.
Sounds good.
For them to be argued together.
Sounds good, thank you.
Okay. Okay, the next case we are calling is DeMarcus Krigley versus Stafford Owens.
Good morning, Honorable Board.
Good morning, thank you. I will, once they're both seated. Okay, Mr. Krigley, can you please state and spell your name for the record?
My name is DeMarcus Krigley, DeMarcus Krigley.
And you are the objector, correct?
I am the objector. Max Solomon will be the attorney on this one.
Okay, and he's not here today, but is he filing an appearance?
He will be filing an appearance.
Okay, and candidate, can you please state and spell your name for the record?
Stafford Owens, STAFFORD
Okay, thank you both. Mr. Krigley, can you please briefly state the nature of your objection?
Yes, failure to identify office sought on the statement of economic interest.
Okay, and Mr. Owens, would you like to file any sort of dispositive motion, a motion to strike and dismiss, or something of that nature?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and set it for the same briefing schedule that was read into the record earlier. I will go over the briefing schedule. Your motion to strike and dismiss, Mr. Owens, will be due on December 9th at 5 p.m. Mr. Krigley, you or your attorney's response will be due on December 11th at 5 p.m. Any reply from you, Mr. Owens, would be due on December 12th at 5 p.m. And then we'll come back here on December 17th. Technically, we're going to notice it for 10 a.m., but again, there's going to be some hearings before you, so.
I've been paying attention.
Okay, great, thank you. Do you guys have any other questions before I go through the exhibits?
No.
Okay, have the parties filed or written out appearances?
I'll file my appearance in the second hearing.
Okay, and have your attorney send us a copy of his appearance? And then, Mr. Owens, we need you to file an appearance as well, because we need everyone's email addresses and ways to contact you. So do you have appearances?
No, I haven't, but I received all my information through email as well.
Correct, but for the sake of for a complete record, we require all parties to file appearances. So if you can fill out this document that you're going to receive, fill out 2 copies of it, give one to your opponent, and then you need to give one to the board, please.
Okay.
Also, where will we be, the attorney will be sending his appearance to?
To me,
email address?
to me.
Okay, can I have your email address?
Absolutely. He has it, but I'll give it to you.
Okay.
And just for the record, in case anyone needs it, that's, party to these proceedings. My email address is Jaworski, JAWORSKI @DLGlawgroup.com. And if you can also copy my associate on that, it's my associate to the left here. Her name is Hannah Auten, AUTEN @DLGlawgroup.com. Pardon me one moment. Okay, my apologies. Okay, so we've set a briefing schedule. Now we're gonna go through the exhibits, just like we did for the last one. I'll wait for Madam Clerk to return. Okay, so at this time, I'm going to read off the exhibits, and then when I am done, I will need a motion to approve. Exhibit A, the nomination papers. Exhibit B, the objector's petition. Exhibit C, the call. Exhibit D, the rules. Exhibit E, the agenda. And Exhibit F, any waivers of service that either have been filed or will be filed. Can we have a motion to approve the exhibit list?
I make a motion to approve the exhibit list.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, so thank you, parties. We're gonna move on to the next case. Okay, the next case we are calling is William Long and Jaylene Harris versus Nathaniel Fields. Mr. Fields, if you could just state your name for the record.
My name's Nathaniel Fields, Jr.
Thank you. We do have an objection that was filed against your candidacy by the objectors previously stated. Objectors counsel, Mr. Stirk, could you please give a brief summary of the objections?
Give me a moment.
No problem.
And for the record, Kevin Stirk from Ansel Glenn, if I could have leave to file my appearance. Our objection boils down to failure to state failure to file a statement of economic interest. And that summarizes it.
My read of the objection, when I read through it, I think it was actually that the wrong statement of economic interest was filed.
Thank you for the correction.
Okay, so basically it's a statement of economic interest issue. I believe there was also something in there stating that because the statement of economic interest was filed wrong, that the statement of candidacy is false and perjurous. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Fields, I'm assuming that you would also like an opportunity to file a motion to strike and dismiss?
I actually like to state for the record that I did file the correct statement of economic interest. They must have missed it when they went through my petition nomination papers. But I do have copies if you guys would like copies of that.
Okay, well, that'll be part of your motion and part of your evidence that you'll submit at the hearing.
Okay.
When we come back on the 17th.
Okay.
So if you'd like an opportunity, just like in the other case, to file a motion to dispute the allegations that
Then, yeah,
they've
I'll file
put
a
out
motion.
against you?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, so we will go ahead and do the same briefing schedule, which will be December 9th, 5 p.m. The motion to strike and dismiss will be due. Responses will be due on December 11th at 5 p.m. And that would be what you would file, Mr. Fields. I'm sorry, Mr. Fields, you would file the motion. I apologize. And Mr. Stirk would be filing the response. And then Mr. Fields, you would have an opportunity to reply on 12/12 at 5 p.m. We would come back here on 12/17. So the exact same briefing schedule that was set in your other case. And have the parties exchanged appearances? Okay, just make sure that the parties exchange appearances, and we will also need appearances given to us for the record. And then at this time, I'm going to read off the exhibits and ask for a motion to enter the exhibits and the exhibit list into the record. Exhibit A, nomination papers. Exhibit B, the objector's petition. Exhibit C, the call. Exhibit D, the rules. Exhibit E, the agenda. And Exhibit F, the waivers of service. Can I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the exhibits.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, so this matter will likewise be continued to 12/17. We're going to, as stated in the previous hearings, we're going to notice it for 10 a.m. But you are third or fourth on the call, so it'll be a little bit later. But The whole board is gonna convene at 10 a.m.
Sounds good.
Mr. Quigley and Mr. Owens, we still need your appearances.
Yeah, I'm doing that now.
Oh, okay, good, you're working on them? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you very much. My associate's just making sure we got all the documents we need, so. That's actually the waiver of service.
Oh, that's, okay.
Yeah, so-
Here, I got the,
That's the appearance form, the one that's on top?
right, that was the.
Okay, do a couple blank ones. Yeah, that's what the appearance is. Okay, there being nothing further on this case, we will now move on to William Long and Jaylene Harris versus Stafford Owens. Then, Mr. Owens, can you state your name?
Stafford Owens.
Thank you. Mr. Stirk, have the parties exchanged appearances? I know, Mr. Owens, you're working on your appearances, right?
I'm doing the same.
Okay, so just make sure that the parties, before you leave, give us copies of the appearances and exchange appearances with each other. Mr. Stirk, can you briefly summarize the nature of the objections?
There's well, we were objecting to, it's like the signatures, just their standard objections of, A through E, signature not genuine, signature, signer not registered at the address, signer outside the district, signed the petition more than once, and then of course the, my favorite column, other. We also have an objection to that he failed to file a statement of economic interest, that he doesn't have enough valid signatures, and he failed to file or receive a statement of economic interest. And then it was filed beyond the deadline.
So the statement of economic interest you're alleging was filed beyond the deadline with the clerk's office?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Owens, just like in the other case, would you like an opportunity to file a motion to strike and dismiss?
Yes.
Okay, so we will go ahead and set this for the same briefing schedule, which will be the motion to dismiss will be due on December 9th at 5 p.m. The response will be due on December 11th at 5 p.m. The reply will be due on December 12th at 5 p.m. And then this hearing will be continued to December 17th at 10 a.m. At this time, I will go through the exhibits. Exhibit A, the nomination papers. Exhibit B, the objectors' petitions. Exhibit C, the call. Exhibit D, the rules. Exhibit E, the agenda. And Exhibit F, the waiver of service. Can I have a motion to approve those exhibits? I've got a motion by trustee or member Darlene Cray Everett.
Second.
And a second by member Loretta Wells. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. There being no further business at this time related to this case, we will see you back here on December 17th at 10 a.m.
What was the case number on that?
The case number for Stafford Owens is 25 TOEB 06, SUP 06.
So we're actually running a little ahead of schedule, but if both parties are here, we can take the Owens case. And I do appreciate that we're running ahead of schedule.
You're just so efficient.
I guess so. Okay, so calling the case of Valeria Stubbs versus Stafford Owens, 25 COEV, Sup 07. Do we have objector here?
Present.
Okay, sir, can you please state and spell your name for the record?
Jamin Avery, first name Jayman, last name Avery, Avery, almost in Marquette, Raisin McGrath. I am here on behalf of Steve Ladazinski, who is actually also a lawyer. I do have appearances for me, and then we would ask me for Mr. Ladazinski to submit appearances thereafter.
Yes, that would not be a problem.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and Mr. Owens, obviously, can you state your name?
Stafford Owens.
Thank you very much. And Mr. Avery, can you please briefly summarize the nature of the objections against Mr. Owens?
Yes, in this case, there are several. We do have sheet and line numbers, so we would be requesting a records examination. There are also circulator issues. There's an alteration of petition sheets, and there's a lack of a statement of economic interest with relationship to the office sought.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Owens, just as in the other cases, would you like time to file a motion to strike and dismiss?
Yes.
Okay, and we'll set it for the same briefing schedule, if that's okay with the parties. And that will be December 9th, 5 p.m. The motion to strike and dismiss would be due. Any response to that motion would be due on December 11th at 5 p.m. Any reply, December 12th at 5 p.m. And we will come back at 12:17. Again, we're going to notice it for 10 a.m. This is going to be further down on the call, but we're going to notice the meeting for 10 a.m. Any questions from the parties?
No.
Okay.
Who I tender my appearance to.
If you could give a copy of your appearance to Mr. Owens and as well as to us.
Yeah, do you want me to walk up there with it or wait till
Yes,
I get
please.
to my third case?
End of your third case is fine, unless you want the steps, of course.
I'll figure that in the car.
Okay, so at this time, I'm going to ask the board to approve the list of exhibits. I'm going to go through them first. Exhibit A is the nomination papers. Exhibit B is the objector's petition. Exhibit C is the call. Exhibit D is the rules. Exhibit E is the agenda. And Exhibit F is the waiver of service. Can I get a motion?
I make a motion to approve the exhibits.
Got a motion by Member Wells and a second by Member Gray Everett. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Owens, just to let you know that this is obviously the last two cases you had, and I should have said this in the earlier case. When there is a records examination, what's going to happen, I don't know if you, have you ever been through this before?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so just for both the edification of you and the edification of the public, we will then send out a notice or a request rather to the Cook County Clerk's office and ask the Cook County Clerk to set this matter for a records examination. They will then give us a date and time. There is no flexibility on that. There's no, can we reschedule it and do it another day? It's whatever they give us, that's what we have to go with. And they do include Saturdays as well as Sundays, I believe, for these records examinations. So what will happen is you will then have to go to the records examination. It will still proceed if you are not there. So if any party does not attend a records examination, the records examination still will go forward. And the Cook County Clerk's Office employee will be the judge of whether the signature is valid or invalid, whether the objection should be sustained for any of the reasons that the signature line was objected to. So that could include, that the candidate, or I'm sorry, that the signer is not registered or any of the other nature of the objections that were filed. It's very important to keep an eye on your email because these can get set, we can get notification today at 5 p.m. for a records examination tomorrow at 12. That wouldn't happen in this case because we haven't sent the request yet. But I just want you to know it's a very expedited proceeding, and so please keep a close eye on your email. As soon as we find out when the records exam is going to be scheduled, we will email the parties. Any questions on that? Okay, no questions. Thank you. Okay, we're gonna call the next case. We're running a little ahead of schedule, but we have all parties here, so if nobody objects, we will go ahead and call that case. Got Sheila Ashley versus Nate Fields. That's up to you. If you want to bring it up now, that's fine. Thank you. And this is case 25 TOEB Supervisor 08. Can the parties state their name for the record?
Again, Jamin Avery on behalf of the objector, standing in for Stephen Ladazinski, who filed the objector's petition. I can spell my name, Jayman, first name, last name Avery, Avery. Olson Murphy Fraser McGrath is the law firm.
Thank you. And Mr. Fields?
Nathaniel Fields Jr.
Thank you. Mr. Avery, could you please briefly state the nature of the objections that you filed against Mr. Fields?
Yes, here there are two major ones. One is there is no statement of economic interest with respect to the office sought that was filed, and there's inconsistent offices sought issue, and then there's also a filing period violation because of the inconsistent office.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Fields, just like in the other cases, would you like an opportunity to file a motion to strike and dismiss? No. If you could use the microphone too, so that the court reporter could pick everything.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So we will go ahead and set the same briefing schedule, which will be a motion to dismiss due on 12/9 at 5 p.m. A response due on 12/11 at 5 p.m. Reply due on 12/12 at 5 p.m. And then we will come back here on 12/17, again at 10 a.m. technically, but this case might be called a little further down just because of it's where it comes in the call. But you've got other cases, so you'll be here. So at this time, we're going to go ahead and go through the exhibits again. Exhibit A, the nomination papers. Exhibit B, the objector's petition. Exhibit C, the call. Exhibit D, the rules. Exhibit E, the agenda. And Exhibit F, the waiver of service. Can I have a motion to approve the exhibits?
I make a motion to approve the exhibits.
Got a motion from Member Wells and a second from Member Cray Everett to approve the exhibits. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. And then I just asked the parties, they've already tendered their appearances, so we're good. Anything else from the parties on this case?
No.
Okay, great.
No.
All right, moving on. And Mr. Moore is still here? Okay, perfect. So calling the next case, which is Sheila Ashley versus Sydney Moore, 25 TOEB, Sup. 09. And objector, can you please state and spell your name for the court reporter?
Jamin Avery, first name Jayman, last name Avery, Avery. Olson Murphy Fraser McGrath Law Firm. On behalf of the objector and also standing in for attorney Steve Ladazinski, we would also seek leave for Mr. Ladazinski to file his appearance as necessary.
That's no problem.
I do have one for me.
Thank you.
Tendering one to the candidate.
Thank you. And Mr. Moore, do you have, Mr. Moore, can you just state your name for the record?
Yeah, Sydney Moore.
Thank you. And do you have an appearance to tender to Mr. Avery?
Yeah, we are given.
Perfect. And then we will also need one brought up here when you guys are, when you have a moment. Oh, we already have it? Okay, we already have it. Thank you. Mr. Avery, could you briefly summarize the nature of the objections against Mr. Moore?
Yes, we have a couple. There were circulation for two different offices, supervisor and trustee. There was an improper filing of the nomination papers, both for as an independent candidate and as a Democratic candidate. and therefore there is also an improper circulation under section 10-4.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Moore, I'm assuming based on, and I forgot to state this earlier, Mr. Avery, Mr. Moore is represented by counsel. His attorney is Frank Avila,
Yes.
who is unfortunately in the hospital right now, so he was not able to be here. Mr. Avila did contact me last night to let me know that he was unable to attend. He did request that a briefing schedule be set. And so we will hear this case along with the other case against Mr. Moore at the end of the call, because Mr. Avila, I believe, has conflicts on the morning of the 17th, so it'll be a little bit more towards the end of the call. And so, yeah,
No objection.
just wanted to let you know that, and thank you for the no objection on the record. So at this time then, we are going to go through the exhibits. And the exhibits are the Exhibit A, the nomination papers. Exhibit B, the objector's petition. Exhibit C, the call. Exhibit D, the rules. Exhibit E, the agenda. And Exhibit F, the waiver of services, or waivers of service. Can I have a motion to approve the exhibits as stated?
Second.
I've got a motion by member Darlene Gray Everett and a second by member Chris Gonzalez. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, so that is it for the supervisor cases.
Well, I got a question.
Oh, I'm sorry, there's something else that you wanted to say, Mr. Moore?
Yes, I need copies of the objections digitally or paper copies for this case with Sheila Ashley and for the previous case.
They should have been served on you, but I'm sure that the clerk's office can get you copies if
And
you just.
recap sheets, if possible.
You want another copy?
Of recap sheets. I've never received copies of those.
Okay. But then with your, all the
Yeah.
information, we email it to you.
I did receive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, but that's fine, you can have copies of that, that's no problem. So for both cases against you, you
Yes.
need them?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so if you just sit tight, we're actually done with the supervisor cases, so this electoral board will now do a,
Can you hang on 1 second?
hold on. I believe we did set the brief, I think you're right. I don't think we discussed the briefing schedule. Thank you.
My point of order.
Just been doing this so many times on repetition. Okay, so the briefing schedule will be the same as all the other cases, and that'll be 12/9 at 5 p.m. for the brief, for the motion to strike and dismiss. The response will be due on 12/11 at 5 p.m. The reply will be due on 12/12 at 5 p.m. And we will come back here on 12/17. Technically, it'll be noticed for 10 a.m., but your cases will be at the end of the call, at the end of the supervisor call.
That's correct.
Understood, thank you.
Okay, no problem. And so if you just sit tight, we'll get you copies of what you requested.
All right, sounds good.
So at this time, I am going to ask that this electoral board do a motion to recess, and then we're going to seat the other electoral board. Recess.
I make a motion that we recess.
We've got a motion to recess from member Wells and a second from member Gonzalez. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. So we're going to take a 10-minute break and seat the other electoral board for the trustee cases. And just so everybody knows, statutorily, that board is composed of the supervisor, the township clerk, and the longest sitting trustee. So that means Supervisor Tiffany Henyard will be on that board, Clerk Loretta Wells is on that board, and Trustee Darlene Gray Everett is on that board. So we're going to take about a 10-minute break, and we'll be back here shortly. Thank you.